In food, one thing that has kept me satisfied is baking, and it has kept me doing it. Hello and welcome to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana and to the Ultimate Baking series with me, Chef Afraz. Today I'm going to show you a very popular recipe of croissant. Croissant is a French word which means a flaky buttery pastry, and it is named because of its crescent shape. So to make croissant, I would require refined flour, margarine, milk powder, castor sugar, fresh yeast, salt, milk. So let's start making our croissant. First, I'm going to activate the yeast. For that, I'm going to add little sugar, as sugar helps to disintegrate the yeast fast. With this, I'm going to add little warm water. Give this a nice mix. Make sure that the yeast is nicely dissolved. And then I'm going to set this aside till it activates. Till that time, I'm going to sieve the refined flour in a large bowl. Sieving is very important in baking as we don't want any particles to be there in our dough. Next, I'm going to add the milk powder. This gives a very nice taste and texture to the croissant, a very nice mouthfeel. With this, I'm going to add the remaining castor sugar, salt. I'm going to mix all these ingredients nicely, and then I'm going to make a well in the center. So now, after sieving all the ingredients and mixing it nicely, here as you can see, our yeast is also nicely activated. You can see the bubbles on top. At this stage, I'm going to add it to the refined flour. Now with my hands, I'm going to mix this nicely. Use your fingers as a whisk and just whisk it around so that everything is nicely mixed. And now I'm going to add water little by little, and you have to knead this to a very soft dough, nice and elastic. The yeast have started its work and the flour is forming gluten. Now you have to start kneading this. You will find this very sticky, but the stickiness will only go when it is kneaded properly. So you have to knead this very nicely. Now as you can see, the stickiness has become lighter and now it is more pliable. Now I'm going to take this on my work table, stretch this nicely. So you can see the gluten formation. Stretch the dough as much as you can, and always your work surface has to be neat and clean. Should not make a mess out of this. See the stretchability of the dough. It should not break. So now that our dough is ready, just shape it into a round ball. And now I'm going to take this in a bowl. So before that, sprinkle little refined flour so that it doesn't stick after when it is proofed. And now I'm going to place this, and then I'm going to cover this with a wet damp muslin cloth. And now I'm going to keep this overnight in a refrigerator. So now after refrigerating this for overnight, the dough, as you can see, it has proofed and has become double in size. I'm going to dust some refined flour on my work table. Bring this out. Now I'm going to knock back the dough. I'm going to remove all the air. So after knock backing it, I'm going to again shape this into a round ball, and then I would roll this and layer it with margarine. So now dust some more refined flour, and we need to roll this into a thin rectangular sheet. You need to dust refined flour occasionally so that it doesn't stick. So now after rolling this into a thin rectangular sheet, I'm going to apply margarine. So after applying a generous layer of margarine, I'm going to dust some refined flour, and then I'm going to fold this into a book fold. And now I'm going to cover this in a cling film. and keep this in the refrigerator for around 10 to 15 minutes. So now after refrigerating this for around 15 to 20 minutes, again we'll open this. Again I'm going to dust some refined flour and roll this back into a thin rectangular sheet. This is the same process which we do in a puff. The only difference is puff does not have yeast. Basically we are creating layers of rolling this out, again applying margarine and then giving it a fold. This is the very simple way. Usually in bakery shops and hotel, they make a slab of butter or margarine and they put it inside directly and then they roll it continuously and they give it a fold. But this I've made it easy so that everyone at home also can make this croissant. So now again after rolling this into a rectangular sheet, again I'm going to apply margarine. This is a nice trick of applying little margarine on each layer, as if you put all the margarine once in a go, there are chances of margarine or butter to ooze out. So now after applying generous margarine, I'm going to put some refined flour and then give this a E fold. So the previous one was the book fold and this is the E fold. So you need to repeat this process for around 3 more times. So again I'm going to clean wrap this and put it back in the refrigerator for around 10 to 15 minutes. So after applying all the margarine and giving the last fold, again you need to fold it thrice in the book fold. So let's roll this again. Now again E fold. Again I'm going to cover this and keep it back in the refrigerator for around 10 minutes. And then again give it a book fold and then again E fold. So now our croissant dough is ready. So let's roll it out. After making several folds, the dough is ready. So I'm going to cut this from between. And you can see the several layers which we have formed. Half of it you can again clean wrap and use it later. I'll dust some refined flour and roll this out into a half-inch thick sheet. So now after rolling it into a half-inch thin sheet, with the help of a pizza cutter, I'm going to cut the edges. And now I'm going to cut this into a triangle shape. Now I'll cut this from the center. Just stretch the edges and then you need to roll this into a crescent shape. Place it on the baking tray. I'm making the small one plain and the two big one I'm going to stuff it with chocolate. So I've cut the chocolate into sticks which I'm going to place right in the center and then roll this similarly. And now I'm going to cover this with a damp muslin cloth and keep this for proofing for around 10 minutes. So after proofing this for around 10 minutes, as you can see, they have proofed nicely and become a little bigger. At this stage, I'm going to brush little milk on the top, a milk wash, very light. See, the size depends upon you. If you want small croissants, if you want big giant croissant, you can shape them into any size. And now this will go in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for around 12 to 15 minutes. Lovely, as you can see, the croissant have baked to perfection. Quickly I'm going to brush this with butter. You can see the butter flowing down and melting very fast. So now let's quickly plate. So here it is, a buttery flaky pastry croissant is ready. Include this in your breakfast and snacks and I am sure that you are gonna love this. If you like the videos that we share on YouTube, do subscribe to us on our YouTube channel.